Hey there, and welcome to the More Than Legends channel. If you like martial arts and kung fu movies, then you're in for a real treat today. The 36th Chamber of Shaolin, also known as the Master Killer, or Shaolin Master Killer, or Shaolin Sanshi Lu Fan, is a 1978 Hong Kong kung fu film directed by Lau Kar-Leung and produced by the legendary Shaw brothers. It stars legendary Hong Kong martial artist and actor Gordon Liu, who plays the role of Tien Ta, a well-known Shaolin martial arts disciple who trained under General Tien Ta. The 36th Chamber of Shaolin is considered to be one of the greatest kung fu films of all time, and is considered to be the vehicle that launched its directors and stars' careers. The story is all about Liu Yu, who later becomes Tien Ta. Yu is a student at a school in Canton that is caught up in a rebellion in China against the ruling Manchu government, which is uncovered by the tyrannical General Tien Ta.
有件事我们想来想去不明白，所以连夜来请教老师。在人屋檐下，不能不低头。我们要低着头过一辈子，连子子孙孙也要低着头过一辈子啊！
我说不低头就断头，要是人人都不怕断头，就不用低头了。说得好，说得好。只有一个人不怕断头，根本没有用。要很多很多不怕断头的好汉才有用。
何老师，满清鞑子，兵多气力，我们的老百姓，
国家兴亡，匹夫有责。
Tien Ta spares no mercy for the school or its students, and kills all students and their family. Yu manages to escape, vowing vengeance. He manages to make his way to the Shaolin temple, where he is nursed back to health by the monks and eventually begins to learn kung fu. In order to learn kung fu, Tien Ta must progress through 35 chambers within the temple to learn all that there is to know about Shaolin kung fu. Whether it's Tien Ta's natural ability as a martial artist or his drive for vengeance motivating him, he advances more rapidly than any other previous student and reaches the rank of Deputy Overseer within the space of 6 years. Of course, with any good kung fu story, there are plenty of fights, but as usual, good triumphs over evil, and Tien Ta ends up fighting General Tien Ta, who's the evil guy who destroyed Tien Ta's school and killed his fellow students at the start of the story. So today I've chosen a sample of scenes in the movie to let you decide if you think this is the best kung fu movie of 1978 and possibly one of the greatest kung fu movies ever made. Now I want to start off by reviewing some of the great training scenes. The movie has a big focus on training scenes and less so on actual fight scenes, which makes sense. But that said, when we get to the fight scenes, these are really exciting and action-packed, so the wait for the fights is definitely worth it in the movie. Plus, the training scenes themselves also have some memorable scenes too. So let's start with one of my favourite training scenes in the movie, headbutting bags. When I first saw this scene in the movie, I initially had to try hard to stop myself from laughing. I mean, in my own martial arts experience, I've never trained for headbutts. The idea of smashing my forehead or the crown of my head into someone else makes me a little bit nervous. But as I got into this scene in the movie, I was incredibly impressed with the acting here. Not only is Gordon Liu, who's playing the role of Tien Ta, actually headbutting the bags, but he's doing it with solid force, as are the other actors in this scene. And they're just not doing it once or twice, by the way. They keep doing it for the entire scene in the movie. It's definitely gotta hurt. Not just from the blunt force trauma to the skull, but the potential for abrasions, scrapes and bruising to the forehead as they continually headbutt the punching bags. I spent some time researching this, and it actually is a legitimate technique in Kung Fu. Shaolin Kung Fu is known to contain head techniques as part of their syllabus, so styles like Choi Li Fa, Hung Ga, and Northern Mantis apply it. And it's just not the front of the head that's used, they use the top and back of the head as well. So this scene from the movie where San Te is making his way through another Kung Fu chamber in the Shaolin Temple is not only authentic, it's really well filmed and acted.
谁叫你低着头啊？站直！双手掏腰，头用劲顶开沙包，到佛祖前上一炷香。是。
Wrist strength. Another great scene is San Te developing wrist strength. Kung Fu is based on the solid foundations of stance, good footwork, muscular endurance, and strength. And importantly, muscular strength is vital in the wrists. When you are laying out a variety of hand strikes, it's really important that your hands have a solid connection to your arms to be able to leverage the full power of your body as you land your strikes. You only have to look at Bruce Lee and his famous two-finger push-ups to realize that not only does he have incredible strength in those fingers to support his roughly 65 kilograms of body weight, but he also has an amazing ability to retain muscular tension on his wrists for balance and power, all of which is vital in Kung Fu. In Bruce Lee's early training days in Wing Chun under Master Ip, Bruce started his training holding wooden poles for extended periods to develop muscular endurance as well as mental strength too. So in this scene we see San Te in another chamber at the Shaolin Temple working on his wrist strength, and again this is really well acted. Gordon Liu playing the scene is a real-life Kung Fu practitioner and puts himself squarely and physically into this scene. Okay, so putting some of the great training scenes of the 36th Chamber of Shaolin behind us, let's get into those fight scenes, which I know you've been waiting patiently to watch. Fighting the Abbot. So after 5 years of persistent training, which is phenomenal for a Shaolin monk, San Te works his way through all of the 35 chambers of Shaolin Kung Fu and ends up becoming a Kung Fu master. So the head abbot of the temple offers to make San Te the deputy abbot of one of the 35 chambers, but he first must fight the monastery's discipline chief known as the Justice Abbot. So we see this cracking scene where San Te uses a wushu monk spade against the Justice Abbot who uses butterfly swords. The fighting is close up and really well choreographed, and both actors do an outstanding job of making the fight scene really intense. Once San Te is released from the monastery, his first and really only objective, which is a little un-Buddhist-like, is to seek vengeance against General Tien Ta for wiping out his school and killing his fellow students and family earlier in the movie. So this is where those 5 years of hardcore Kung Fu training by San Te come together. There are two fight scenes that really stand out in the movie. San Te fights Lord Tang. As San Te returns back to his hometown in Canton, he encounters Lord Tang, who features early in the movie as one of the main henchmen of General Tien Ta. In a great fight scene, San Te not only takes on Lord Tang, but also his platoon of soldiers as well, and easily dispatches them and Lord Tang.
你还记得7年前封我书斋，拆我海威殿，杀我全家吗？
你是逃犯刘玉德，上！
过去帮你的弟兄。
Sante fights General Tien Ta. This is the final scene in this great movie and well worth the wait. After 5 years of long training, Sante gets to fight General Tien Ta in an epic kung fu fight that definitely keeps you excited and on the edge of your seat. Sante uses his 3-section staff to get into the thick of this great fight scene. Does he defeat General Tien Ta? Well, I won't spoil the story for you. You'll just have to find out yourself by watching the movie.
国家本有降魔之能，你看你自己身上有多少条人命？
对，人我杀过很多，可是和尚倒没杀过。啊！哎呀！嘿，好，哎，好，哎。
So if you like some of the scenes from the movie, make sure to go check out the full movie, which I think is one of the best kung fu movies of 1978 and definitely on the list of the greatest kung fu movies of all time. Also, if you like this video, make sure to click on that like button below and share this review on this awesome kung fu movie. And make sure to subscribe to keep up to date as I release more exciting videos like this one. And finally, do you think that the 36th Chamber of Shaolin is the best kung fu movie of 1978 and one of the greatest kung fu movies of all time? Or do you think that there's a better movie? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for tuning in.